Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Mac back in my home teaching studio here to go over chapter 4 of Frankenstein. So here's your agenda for today. Today you're going to start with the video you're on right now, Tuesday's lesson, tracking the themes. Once you finish this, you're going to move along to the chapter 4 read aloud. Then you're going to move on to the chapter 4 annotations video, and finally you'll do your chapter 4 check-in. That's a Google form. So make sure before you do your chapter 4 check-in Google form, you've watched all 3 of the chapter 4 videos. That's the Tuesday lesson, the chapter 4 read aloud, and the chapter 4 annotations. Now the chapter 4 annotations video is a little long because part of the lesson I'm going to introduce right now, I'm going to kind of re-go over that in the annotations video. So that one is a little bit longer today. Remember, with our distance learning, our online learning, always pace yourself. It's most important that you understand the material, that you text and email me with questions. It's not most important that you go quickly. Okay, so make sure you're taking your time. If you get stuck at any point, send me an email or a text. Let me know. Make sure we understand everything before you move on. All right? So today we're going to talk a little bit more about themes. So yesterday we mentioned that theme could be the overall moral or message of the story, but it can also be smaller ideas that the author repeats throughout the text. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how the author develops that and why. So this is going back to RL 8.2. That standard is about analyzing the theme of a text and how the author develops that theme over the course of the text. So we're talking about how is theme developed. So an author really has 2 primary methods of developing theme. They can either repeat the same idea over and over throughout the text. So you see something like a simple book, like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Roald Dahl shows you the same incident occurring over and over again. The children are greedy or they have some sort of character flaw and they get in trouble. So by repeating that same pattern over and over again, it kind of drives the theme into your brain and makes you remember the message of the story. Now, an author can do that, and that's really effective. But the other way that they can develop theme is by showing different angles on an issue throughout the text. So they can show you how beauty affects one person and ugliness affects someone else. By the end, you should be able to make a judgment on how society treats both beautiful and ugly people. So they're showing you 2 different angles on appearance, and you're drawing the connection as to what that means in the real world. So the author can do either one of these things. They can repeat the same idea over and over throughout the text, or they can attack that theme from different angles, show you a lot of different sides of that message, and then you kind of have to draw your own conclusion. Now, I bet you can guess already, because we've gone over so many themes, that Mary Shelley does this in Frankenstein. She's going to show you a lot of different themes, angles, messages, moments, and by the end, it's going to kind of tie up in a nice little bow into one message of the story, okay? That's why this work is more complex, and that's why it's kind of pushing your thinking a little bit, is because she's driving home the theme from a lot of different angles. So I'm going to show you kind of a visualization of that really quickly. So let's erase. I know you guys are happy that at home I have better markers and erasers than I do at school. The board is a lot cleaner here. All right, so when we're talking about chapter 4, you're going to see this overarching idea of Victor Frankenstein's obsession. This is when he becomes totally enveloped in this idea of creating a new life. He's completely obsessed. And what you're going to see as this obsession unfolds is how it affects every area of his life. So you're going to see how it affects his relationship with his family. You're going to see how it affects his feeling of rejection from society. Is he accepted or is he rejected? You'll find out. Is he now beautiful or ugly now that he's become obsessed. It's going to affect his beauty or ugliness. And I bet you're drawing conclusions. This obsession is also going to tie into his fate or destiny. So these are the 4 themes we've been talking about. And in chapter 4, you're going to see Mary Shelley do something really cool. Okay? She takes this brand new theme of obsession. We haven't seen it much, a little bit with Robert Walton in the letters, okay? But she takes this brand new theme of obsession, and in one short chapter, she ties in all of the themes that we've discussed so far and shows how they connect back to obsession. Okay, so she's drawing all of these strings together in chapter 4, and then in chapter 5, she lets them all go, and you have to push them back together, okay? So this is one of the things I want you to see when you're reading a complex text, is think about what is Mary Shelley herself trying to do. As she's writing, she's showing you how these new things tie together, okay? She's creating this complex web of the story with every line in chapter 4. So this is what I want you to do today. As you're listening to the read aloud, just listen, soak it all up, enjoy the story. This one gets a little gross and gory, just a heads up. As you're listening, just enjoy the story, okay? But pay attention to my annotations, because in the annotations, I'm going to be walking you through this web that she creates and how she ties each of these themes back to this new idea of obsession. So pay close attention in that annotation video, and tomorrow when we do chapter 5, we'll kind of start making our own visual map of how all of these themes and ideas are tying themselves together in Victor Frankenstein's life. This is a really cool chapter, probably the second most famous chapter in the book. So enjoy it. It gets a little Halloween-y here in the middle. So enjoy chapter 4, listen to it, pay attention to your annotations, and I'll be back with another short lesson tomorrow. Enjoy.